We're talking about two different ways of doing worm farms. You can do this on a small scale, large scale, medium scale, it doesn't really matter. And yeah, let's just get into it. First method I'm going to run through is not really my kind of cup of tea. Reason being is you get a lot of compost all at once, but then you tend to have to store it and it's not fresh. And worm compost has to be fresh because all the bacteria are alive. And if it dries out, the actual compost itself becomes like all the bacteria will go to sleep, and that's not what you want. But it's a simple method. This method is actually very, very easy to do, whereby this is not what I'm doing because this is another chap, and what he does is basically fills these containers up with cow dung and then water, and then lets it ferment, because worms of course love eating anything that has lots of bacteria in it. So then he just covers the whole area. He's not here at the moment, he'll be back in about 2 months. I need to feed again. I just fed them all with the cow dung, and as you will see in a minute, with some cauliflower on the other side. But anyway, so what you do then is you add layer after layer, and until it's maybe about that high. Some of you might think, well, here in the tropics, won't it overheat with all the heat you already have? But because it's just thin layers, and as the worms are digesting it, breaking it down, you don't have any heat. So the lower layers are not that hot. Only problem is you do have some anaerobic conditions deeper down in the pile, and the bacteria in it aren't as good as it could be. So I prefer aerobic kind of conditions, because plants tend to prefer aerobic type of bacteria. This is to do with the fact that most of the harmful bacteria happen to be anaerobic, so you just by default get rid of that problem. Now the downside with this method is that you then have to use this machine. The worms, it's a good thing too. I mean, this method is just simple. You just put the slurry on and just keep doing that, and once maybe every 8-9 months you just harvest it through the machine, boom, you're away, you have a huge amount of compost. And I think, you know, there's a lot to be said for that method. Now, the other method that we are using is basically where you do it staggered. You let the worms actually move. So the way this works is, just imagine you have worms. If you were a worm, would you want to be in your excrement, or would you rather be in a 5-star hotel with all-you-can-eat diner? And basically, I would say, yes, I would rather be in that. So what happens here is we do it kind of staggered. You can see here I put down some cabbage here. We did that the other day because these worms needed feeding. So that's how we kind of got around it, and they're really gobbling this up really well now at this point. You can see all the worms there, they're really happy. And the way you do it is you start off with a strip like this, and then you do strip feeding. And then the worms, you know, after a while, when there's nothing there anymore, they will start going into the food. Once you've done that, you can actually start taking away the bits that are in between, where there's no more food. You can start raking it off, as we've been doing here. Right? So we've raked it off there, we've completely raked it off there, and there, and you get a feel for it. So every week you get better at actually judging how much food you need to add, until we've actually taken away this area, because we stopped watering it as well, and all the worms will still be in this area. And so we're just going through it, and the worms have enough time between, you know, new eggs being laid, and which is about 60 days, eggs being laid and new worm coming in, to no more food being there, which is here now, and being able to wander over into the new fresh stuff. And that's all there is really to it. So you end up having every day new compost, because you're moving around. Here we're doing 1 a week, and there we're doing 2 a week. So we have always new fresh compost ready to go. Now this of course is terra preta, and once my computer is back up and running, I'll make a video on the ingredients for the terra preta. It's a really amazing compost. You really want to not miss that one, because I think it will benefit your soil for actually generations to come. So I'm going to end that video on there. If you have any questions, then ask away in the comment section. Other than that, thanks for watching. I might see you in the next one.